All right, so a new football week happened this past weekend. The debut of the XFL. Now, if you guys did not watch these XFL games, I'm going to tell you that I thought overall it was pretty damn good. I would give it an A minus for the weekend. I thought there was a lot of great stuff. I pretty much like all the teams. The one thing I really like that I think the NFL needs to adopt right now is the new kick rule. I think that new kick rule is brilliant. It's perfect. It allows for good kickoff returns. It makes the play exciting. I would adopt that rule this year if I was the NFL, but that's like the only rule out of the XFL that I would actually adopt. I really like the helmet communication in the headset. You know, when you're hearing the coaches and the quarterbacks talking to the quarterback and the skill position players and vice versa, I think it's really good for the game. I think it's a little bit too much overkill. Same thing with the sideline reporting. I think it's a little bit overkill. I don't want to hear after every play in interview or after every call. But I thought it was interesting. You know, there's some language I learned while watching those games that I did not know before. For instance, I didn't know that odd numbers meant run to the left, and I didn't know that even numbers usually meant the play was going to the right. And, you know, I didn't realize that Iowa was a code term for an inside zone. I didn't realize some of those terms because, again, I never played, football in high school or college or anything. So those are new stuff to me. But I understand the game, and I like it, and I've been taking notes, and I really enjoyed that experience. I also really enjoyed the replay review system. I thought that was great. I thought they took their time. They got almost every call right. I think the NFL could adopt that. That's one of those non-in-game rules I think they could adopt is, seeing how the replay officials interact with the booth. I don't think the NFL needs to adopt the coaches and quarterback communication thing in-game. I think that's more of an XFL thing. Some of the things that I did not like coming out of the XFL this weekend was... specifically, I thought the games did not seem to go quicker. I thought they were almost longer. I think there needs to be more teams. Because I think the issue right now with the XFL is there's only one game out at a time. You can only watch one game. And I do think part of it is, hey, listen, did this start too early? Because we just finished right after the Super Bowl. Do we need a little bit of a break from football? Because I do feel like a good month or so, a break away from the NFL is good. So I do think the XFL needs to add more teams for it to last. But out of the 8 teams, I'm a big fan right now of the Houston Roughnecks. Not only because I'm a country guy, but I think they have a really good team with a really good head coach in June Jones, who's an offensive mind, speaks my language. That quarterback number 11, PJ Walker, can flat out play. And I think there's a lot of, former NFL talent out there. I know the Dallas Renegades have Lance Dunbar, and of course Landry Jones, who was hurt this past week. Of course, the Tampa Bay Vipers, Aaron Murray, who I always liked, the quarterback out of Georgia, came out in 2014. You guys didn't know he was on the Eagles practice squad. In 2016. I really liked his game. So there's a lot of talent in this league, folks. There's a lot of talent, and I really enjoyed watching the games. So let me go over the scores, and let me give you my thoughts on each game. The DC Defenders 31 against the Seattle Dragons 19. They kicked off the event. I think Seattle Dragons, they have a good head coach in Jim Zorn. Don't know about their quarterback Silvers. Where on the other side, the DC Defenders, they have, of course, Danielle Pumphrey, former Philadelphia Eagle, at running back. They have Cardell Jones at quarterback, the former Ohio State quarterback. I think the DC Defenders are a pretty good team. I think they're solid. They could make the playoffs. They could not. Who knows? The Wildcats, they obviously just fired their defensive coordinator, Pepper Johnson, after their blowout loss to the Houston Roughnecks by a final 37-17. I really don't think the LA Wildcats are good. I think they might be the worst team in the XFL. Again, there's only 10 weeks in the XFL. And we have to judge these guys on each game because we're seeing them each game. So right now, I think the Wildcats are the worst team. I don't think the Vipers are that bad. I know they lost 23-3 to the New York Guardians. I don't think the Vipers are that bad. I really don't. I think they made some bone-headed mistakes when it came to red zone play. Of course, Aaron Murray turning the football over early in the game on that terrible throw in the red zone. Which, why do you even make that throw? But I really thought they were better than the Guardians, and they were favored. They just made boneheaded mistakes, and that's why the Guardians won the football game. And then, the Renegades, we can't really judge them until they get Landry Jones back. Their backup quarterback played terrible. I don't even remember what their backup quarterback's name was, to be honest. I don't have it on my sheet. But I do know the St. Louis Battle Guards won the game 15-9. So again, the things I liked were the kickoff rule. I think the NFL needs to interpret that right now. I love the helmet communication. I love the replay review. The one thing that I think the XFL should keep, the NFL should not go with, is the conversion rule. I think the NFL should push the PAT back. I think they should make it somewhere between a 40 and 45-yard field goal, because I feel like in the XFL, the kicker is almost irrelevant unless you're kicking a field goal. And I think in the NFL, the kicker is more important because of the extra points. The kicker feels a part of the game, where in the XFL, the kicker doesn't really feel a part of the game. Again, I think the kicker should be a part of the NFL, really, and I think this conversion rule with the 1 point on the 2-yard line, the 2 points on the 5-yard line, and the 3 points on the 10-yard line should stay in the XFL. Now, this weekend coming up on ABC at 2 p.m., we have the New York Guardians and the DC Defenders. They will kick off. Both teams are 1-0. Tampa Bay will take on Seattle. They are both 0-1, starting at 5 p.m. on Fox. On Sunday, the Dallas Renegades will take on the LA Wildcats. They're both 0-1. That'll kick off at 3 on ABC. Now, that programming time, 3 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, the St. Louis Battle Hawks will take on the Houston Roughnecks, and they are both 1-0 at 6 o'clock on FS1. So your XFL standings early on are in the East. The New York Guardians, the DC Defenders, and the St. Louis Battle Hawks are 1-0, with the Tampa Bay Vipers 0-1. In the West, Seattle, Dallas, and LA are all 0-1. Houston Roughnecks stand alone at 1-0.